We expect more training workshops from ILO-KOICA because we are just cultivating. We do not know what we are going to do with it. At times, we just auction what we could not sell. For us to continue our projects, we expect ILO-KOICA to support us financially. We also ask for more training workshops, equipment, because we need improved seeds. We really need support from ILO, both financial and material.
The
demand is high. We also have to increase our production capacity. We'll still have to continue asking for support from our partner so that we can have other structures that can host our chicks.
J'attends du projet ILO-KOICA.
I expect ILO-KOICA to support me with equipment so that I can increase my production to industrial level so as to meet up with the demand of my customers in and out of the country.
Camerounais et voire même à l'extérieur du pays.
We expect a lot from them. They asked us to write business plans that can be presented to potential partners.
We are in our second year of activities where we identified the value chains that can be profitable and inclusive for our target, who are women, refugees, internally displaced persons, and host communities. We would continue to work with the value chain to later on build those enterprises such that they can be more sustainable. We will also continue the competition in writing business plans and also make access to finance. We are really working so hard to make access to finance easier for our targets. We are begging that this partnership should last because we were told that it ends in 2024. Contributing to the revitalization of economies and social cohesion between refugees and host communities, thanks to the development of female entrepreneurship in some agro-pastoral value chains, the ILO-KOICA project has achieved a lot as far as its capital objective is concerned. From the Mberi in the Adamawa to the Mbumba and Goku in East Cameroon, passing through the Lom and Jerem and Kadeyi, the 16 target municipalities of this project have each a happy and epic story to share in terms of the impacts of the project. The results, which can be seen and related to local and inclusive economic development, the establishment of sustainable and flourishing entrepreneurial structures for the development of cooperatives, the promotion of social protection, the prevention of gender-based violence and HIV and AIDS. In short, the results that affect the most communities where refugees live in these two regions are innumerable and are all thanks to the ILO-KOICA project. Let us take a look at the 16 localities and what they benefited from this project. The first stop is the locality of Njohon. The Forum was created in 2023. ILO-KOICA helped us to put in place the plan of action by organizing 4 training workshops. But we worked more in the domain of agriculture and livestock, particularly in the production of maize and small ruminants.
The workshop exposed our local potential. I met a few people who talked about the processing of local products, which was not well known because they produced and sold their products locally.
Au début, on produisait notre manioc, c'était juste pour en consommer comme du couscous.
At the beginning, we produced cassava only for consumption in the form of powder, commonly called fufu. But thanks to the training with ILO-KOICA, we are able to transform cassava into different products like flour for pastries, like bread, biscuits, and also what is called gari and starch. And with cassava peelings, we made animal feed and charcoal.
La formation également, nous utilisons la peau du manioc aussi pour en faire des provandes, et nous avons aussi transformé le manioc pour en faire du charbon.
About 90 kilometers away, precisely in the capital of the Mbere division in Meganga, is the call for a good practice in social security, decent work for the target project, being the guarantee of sustainable development.
Nous avons été retenus 4 personnes et moi-même.
Myself and 4 persons were trained as community relay persons, so we can continue the training and sensitization of other people. In 2 years, we have trained people, and 42 persons have registered voluntarily in the insurance scheme. The National Social Insurance Fund awarded us the coronation for collaboration officially. The convention would help us to be more credible and do work better. We say thank you to ILO-KOICA that took this initiative.
Aux entrepreneurs ruraux. Également, merci à la CNPS qui a fait confiance en nous.
Il était question pour nous de mener des campagnes de sensibilisation.
We had to carry out sensitization programs and also information sessions to enable us have social secretariats. ILO-KOICA sent a list of 150 entrepreneurs and 13 cooperatives. The results that we have are positive, as we trained 400 persons, far above our expectations. So we went above the number of entrepreneurs expected of us. We also expected ILO to create 5 social secretariats, but we have 14 secretariats, 6 in the locality of Di, 3 in the locality of Ngawi, and 4 in the Johon Council.
De Ngawi et 4 dans la commune de Johon.
This is what makes the charm of this project, whose tentacles extend to Baturi. We are in the East region, in the Kadei division. The first stop here we made an immersion in the South bath of chicks, squawking and croaking. It is Ngando Kenfa who receives us.
Aujourd'hui, ici à 1500 poulets que vous voyez aujourd'hui bien entretenus, que je suis en train de les garder jalousement.
Today, I have 1,500 chicks that are well catered for. I am keeping them jealously thanks to a 50% financing from ILO-KOICA, 10% from me, and 40% from the bank. They called me and gave me financial support. I have never held such huge amounts of money before. I used to work and have $1 million or 2, maximum 3 million. But on that day, I signed out 5,020,000 francs. I immediately placed an order for 1,500 chicks, 27 bags of soja, 14 bags of feed, and 2 bags of belgofof, and 10 bags of kennel. I bought a tricycle that will help me transport bags of feed and even wood. The tricycle helps me to do all that I wanted to do. I say thank you to ILO-KOICA for transforming me into an entrepreneur.
Vraiment, je dis grandement merci à ILO-KOICA pour ce qu'il a fait de moi. Il a fait de moi un entrepreneur vraiment qualifié.
This is a success story of the ILO-KOICA project, just like that of Ngonsi Mbombo, an entrepreneur in the maize sector who benefited from financing through the business project competition.
J'ai d'abord commencé par le cacao. Et au fur et à mesure, quand je venais, j'ai quand même eu que...
First, I began with cocoa, and as time went on, I discovered cocoa gave a lot of work, so I needed something intermediary that could make me take off fast, because it takes cocoa 1 year to mature. I needed something that would mature in 3 to 4 months, and since part of my land was savanna land, I said I should launch maize planting, That's how I started with maize. It was just a trial. I moved from 2 hectares to 3, then 4, and it went like that until now I have 8 to 10 hectares with the help of my sales from the cocoa.
Doucement, 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 jusqu'à ce que je puisse quand même avoir 8 hectares à 10 hectares.
If the success of this project can be seen in individual initiatives, sustainable development also involves common initiative groups that the ILO-KOICA is also interested in. This is seen in the case of Katie.
Avant que ILO-KOICA nous découvre, on produisait nos maniocs, on transformait en manioc.
Before ILO-KOICA came, we produced our cassava and transformed into gari in small scale. With all the training we have received from ILO-KOICA, we want to increase our production, transformation, and create a company in Kete. Why not? Such that others can copy from us. Now that we have been trained, the process of transformation is much easier. We package well and we sell in the market and in trade fairs. We were also trained in financial education, which helps us manage our finances. Before, we spent anyhow. Now, we can know how much we make and how we can spend the money. At the beginning, we were not into cassava processing, but today, thanks to the training, we are now into processing.
Maintenant que OIT nous a formés, nous transformons encore mieux.
60 kilometers away, precisely in Uli, the beneficiaries are combining their efforts in the community.
Le projet ILO-KOICA nous ont formés.
ILO and KOICA trained us on agricultural production. With this training, we are more organized and galvanized. We were taught how to place cassava stems. Before, we placed them anyhow. It is now well structured after training.
Les boutures, c'est que ça donne bien grâce à la formation.
Heading now to the locality of Kenzu to meet a group called Solidarity Hands, operating like a common initiative group, they have also received a push from ILO-KOICA.
Dimanche à 15h là, donc nous tous nombres de 25, on est regroupés comme ça là.
We meet on Sundays at 3 p.m. for our meeting, which we begin with a solidarity fund of 200 francs each. After the solidarity fund, we move to the saving scheme, which we start from 1,000 up to 5,000. When we finish our contributions, we count and lock it up in our box.
On a commencé à 1000 francs. Donc 1000 francs jusqu'à s'arrêter à 5000. C'est ça qu'on a commencé ça. Donc on finit l'épargne, on comptait l'argent, on comptait le nombre de tampons. Ça va, on a fermé la caisse.
Je suis membre d'association Main Solidaire.
I am a member of the association Solidarity Mothers. I am a refugee. I took a loan here that helped me very much. I didn't have a sewing machine. I was hiring one, but thanks to this scheme, I now have my own machine. I sew clothes and make gains that help me. I thank ILO-KOICA. I had trainings with ILO and I also do savings within my association.
Des bénéfices et c'est ça qui m'aide.
Pour le final là, je remercie ILO-KOICA.
With the ILO-KOICA project, we had to start by a training. We want to say thank you to ILO-KOICA, which helped us to start savings. This gives us ideas, just as it gave to Ibrahim Swaibu, who was initially a trader and had to convert into an agricultural entrepreneur in the maize sector thanks to ILO-KOICA.
Moi, je suis venu de la Damawa. Chez nous, là-bas, dans la Damawa, on vivait beaucoup plus, on mangeait le maïs. Ici, là,
I come from the Adamawa region.
Maïs.
Over there is a lot of maize. We get involved the lack of maize, so I said to myself, I can get involved into agriculture. I was struggling with 2 to 3 hectares of land. The beginning was not that easy, especially with my environment, my family, that thought I had failed because I left business for farming. But I persevered, and now I see the changes. The ILO-KOICA project trained me in agricultural transformation, of waste to animal feed, and also taught us how to make gari, which we thought was difficult to do. Today, everybody in Kenju knows how to make gari. Also taught us how to create cooperatives and transform our activity into an industry. The ILO project has really changed my life. You can see that I am super happy because before now, I would not even produce up to half of that you can see today. But thanks to their financial support, my farms and produce have experienced expansion. The first support helped rebuild my farm, buy a tree cycle, and marry after many other things. The tree cycle helps me transport and stock my products. In the next phase, I hope to go to 30 hectares, employ about 50 people, or even become an enterprise. Many people are seeking for employment.
Plus de 50 personnes. Dans l'avenir même, ça va devenir une entreprise parce qu'il y a beaucoup de gens qui viennent demander le travail.
The flamboyant reflection of this project was clearly seen in the Kadei division, where refugees and people living with disabilities are not left behind. The voice of their empowerment also comes through that ILO-KOICA project.
Le projet de ILO-KOICA nous donne d'abord.
With the ILO-KOICA project, we had to start by a training. We want to say thank you to ILO-KOICA, which helped us to start savings.
Également, dans ce site, nous avons plusieurs partenaires de mise en œuvre.
We have many partners, particularly the ILO and KOICA, which assist us in accompanying, facilitating the creation of associations and equally training. This project has a great impact in the community as it leaves an indelible mark.
Nous souhaitons que cette action soit menée et soit pérennisée.
ILO and KOICA trained us in 3 activities: cassava, maize, and table birds. They take into consideration our weaknesses and our handicap. The training permits us to have an activity no matter the season in which we are. They taught us how to have access to the market. We are really grateful because we do not know whether they had people's lives in mind before conceiving this project. We pray that the adventure does not end here.
Nous prions que l'aventure nous arrive en si bon chemin.
Avant, je m'y connaissais pas.
Before now, I did not know how to breed table birds. I had many ideas, but I did not know where to start. With the training I received, I was able to start with 50 chicks, and today I am between 300 to 400 birds.
Grâce à la formation que j'ai reçue à l'OIT.
The training with ILO-KOICA really galvanized me in terms of returns. I was working on large hectares of land without having great harvest. But since we had the training, I embarked on 2 hectares last year and it yielded good results.
2 hectares vraiment réussi.
Lorsque nous sommes rencontrés avec l'OIT,
when we met ILO, they decided to get us into a training program which began with peer educators and counselors in the level of IBG, positive masculinity, and also entrepreneurship. We were trained in the creation of cooperatives. I was living in a free union with my wife for 39 years until we now hope with the arrival of ILO. When ILO came, we were completely transformed. We continue to thank ILO because they come to amplify the knowledge we already had from our partners.
L'action de l'OIT dans la commune de Ndelele est une action.
The actions of ILO-KOICA in Ndelele are really welcome because it has come to reinforce the dynamism of the women in the community. Lots of activities have been carried out but went unnoticed. But with this accompaniment, we have seen the actions of many organizations. Today, in Ndelele, we identify many producers of table birds, producers of maize, cassava production has also increased.
La production en maïs, manioc a agrandi, s'agrandit véritablement.
Let us make a stop at the entrance of Betwa, specifically in Manju, to meet Cécile Agro Production.
Je vais vous faire déguster la galette patinguée.
C'est très bon. Très bon, c'est super.
ILO-KOICA, avec la transformation du manioc que je transforme aujourd'hui, le manioc de la racine à la feuille.
With the transformation of cassava that I am doing, it puts me in the position of a trainer. It permits me to sell in and out of the East region. ILO-KOICA has taken me to many trade fairs that I could not imagine. Since I do not have money to get a stand that costs 300 to 400,000 francs, ILO paid for me, and I went to Digicam and a web project, even SIAC. Today we can already see the fallouts because thanks to this exposure, I am now having invitations from outside Cameroon like the CIAO. These are all opportunities that ILO has given me. It is on this basis that I created an association of women, both local and refugees, through this contract with UNICEF. UNICEF contracted me to train young girls on autonomization. They were mostly refugee girls who were under-scholarized. Here we meet now our 5 learners from KOICA, UNICEF, and IMC. They are learning how to process cassava into all its products and many other things. I am also working with housewives. When we have a lot of work, they come to give a helping hand, and in that manner, they also learn on the job.
Je travaille également avec des femmes de ménage. Quand on a le boulot, elles viennent me donner un coup de main et apprennent aussi au même moment.
Vous m'aviez essuyé les larmes. Quand mon mari était mort, vous m'aviez invité dans votre association Réunification.
You have wiped away my tears. When my husband died, you invited me in your association, and this has helped me a lot, as I have learned many things in the different training programs that I am tempted to forget about my husband. I take care of my children as I make cassava sticks, cassava cakes to sell.
Je garde bien les orphelins maintenant grâce à toi.
I am a member of this association. I didn't pay a dime for the training. I am learning to make flour cakes, balls, all kinds of juice, and it permits me to provide the needs of my children. Thank God, as I do not complain anymore. I am able to feed, and my children can go to school from the proceeds of this activity.
Il y a de cela quelques années, plus précisément 3 ans.
It is about 3 years now that we are in contact with ILO-KOICA. We are an organization that was still finding its feet in our context, so as to offer good services to entrepreneurs. It is through this that we come in contact with KOICA through the specialist management of enterprises, Josué Kuba. They contacted us and presented to us the objectives of the project on the automation of women in the East and Adamawa, financed by ILO and KOICA. We were happy to know that ILO will support us in the reinforcement of capacities to offer quality services to entrepreneurs, particularly female entrepreneurs. They proposed to us a vast number of training programs through this process and methodology. We submitted our proposals and we were retained. We signed a contract of execution.
Pour la première année et jusqu'à aujourd'hui, nous continuons dans cette collaboration.
Le projet ILO-KOICA nous a apporté premièrement les connaissances pratiques en entrepreneuriat.
The ILO-KOICA project first gave us practical knowledge in entrepreneurship because we knew nothing in the domain. Thanks to the training, we developed capacities and competencies in entrepreneurship. That is the first thing. Secondly, it gave us the opportunity to have an activity to earn a living. All 10 of us who participated. We later on trained other refugees and other members of the host communities. It helped us to also be independent economically. We also received competencies on ways of inclusion, that is, being able to work with women, men, and all spheres of the society. The ILO-KOICA project helped us to formalize a certain number of enterprises. In total, 7 enterprises have been legalized since we started. We also trained 10 cooperatives that put together about 50 persons, and today these cooperatives are working in the domain of agriculture. They produce and sell their products, and this has a great impact in the lives of the populations. We also have trained individual entrepreneurs through ILO-KOICA. They are 75 in number, and many of them are now working even through their enterprises and are not yet legalized.
Individuels également. Nous avons pu former 75 entrepreneurs individuels et dans ces 75-là, beaucoup travaillent, beaucoup n'ont pas d'entreprise formelle, mais beaucoup sont sur le terrain pour l'instant et font des petites activités génératrices de revenus.
Nous avons bénéficié de la
We got
formation de
training
formateurs.
for trainers from the project Jamir. Also, we got training for trainees from the project Go Ahead, Financial Education, and My Cup. Today we have our trained trainers who exercise their know-how to our beneficiaries. We say thank you to ILO and KOICA for this collaboration. We also say thank you. When we say thank you, we also ask for more because there is still a lot to do. 3 years is not enough for a child to become independent and mature, to stand on his feet alone. As we say in all the media platforms, we see the level of execution of the projects of ILO-KOICA. As such, we think that we should continue the collaboration so that we can build our capacities so we can better add value.
Le chantier est vraiment vaste.
The work is really much for the association, ADC. But if the association is at this level, it is because ILO and KOICA have been giving support for the association. I accompanied the association from its birth, and the biggest financial support that the association has received comes from ILO. We want to express gratitude for the diverse forms of aid we have received. We ask the project once more again to accompany us in our training and triennial vision of 2024-2027.
De bénéficiaires, mais aussi de les accompagner surtout à la formalisation.
With all these achievements, the impact of ILO-KOICA projects on the ground, the different components were able to define ways for a much better implementation in collaboration with CTDs and decentralized local authorities.
Il était question de sélectionner au sein des différentes communes Ngaoundéré Premier 2 et
We had to select from the different councils of Ngaoundéré and its environs, the refugees, the internally displaced, and the members of the host communities to put them in the process of incubation. We had to start by asking the young people to develop a business idea, after which we teach them how to create an enterprise. That is how to see their products be in the market and network with other entrepreneurs. We did this within a period of 3 to 4 months. Now, we are in a new phase with these youths, the phase for the search for funding. We are extending a hand to businessmen who can finance the projects of youth, so we told them it is also important that they too search for finances.
Attraper des financements et développer leur propre entreprise.
Déjà, nous saluons cette initiative de l'OIT à travers le financement.
We laud the initiative from ILO-KOICA that has enabled our council, like others, benefit from this project. The Kenzo Council, with the context of social cohesion, had the opportunity to celebrate collective marriages. We equally had marriages amongst host populations and refugees. The refugee population is bigger than the host population.
Camerounais, population haute et population réfugiée. Cette population réfugiée est plus grande, est plus nombreuse que la population haute qui l'accueille.
La célébration des mariages est l'une des solutions que nous apportons.
The celebration of marriages is one of the solutions we are bringing to the problems we discovered in our preliminary studies in this project. It has to do with peer and conflict analysis that identified problems linked to cohabitation and violence that can surface when women are independent. The communities, the refugees, and the host populations propose palpable solutions to mitigate violence and favor cohabitation amongst refugee communities and Cameroonians. The solution is the celebration of marriages that falls in line with a similar project of collective marriages instituted by the government through the Ministry of Women's Empowerment and the Family and the councils.
Un programme de l'État camerounais qui est mis en œuvre par le ministère de la Promotion de la Femme en collaboration avec les collectivités territoriales décentralisées, les mairies.
L'OIT est également intervenu dans notre commune dans le cadre de
ILO also intervenes in our community in the domain of gender-based violence. They put in place a system to provide assistance to victims of gender-based violence and also refer them to where they can be taken care of psychologically. The last point is the fight against HIV and AIDS in partnership with the district hospital and other health centers. ILO help us in this domain in prevention and resistance to HIV and AIDS.
À la commune de Kenzo, nous disons merci au projet OIT.
In the Kenzo Council, we say thank you to ILO-KOICA because of the privilege we have for having won the highest number of prizes in the business plan project.
Par rapport au concours qui avait été lancé, nous disons infiniment merci.
In 4 years of its presence, the ILO-KOICA project is pleased with the palpable results recorded.
Rendu à ce jour, le projet ILO-KOICA est à plus de 80% de réalisation des objectifs escomptés.
As from now, the ILO project is at 80% of realization. The project, be it technically or financially, when you attain more of that, about 80% of your objectives, you can only be satisfied. At the time when the project still had 1 year to go, it is important to mention that if we have been able to attain close to 80% of our objectives, it is thanks to a great and competent team, that is the assiduous and passionate nature of those who are connected with the beneficiaries on the field to identify the real needs and come up with adequate responses.
Adéquates. Et on peut, n'est-ce pas, le vérifier aujourd'hui à travers le retour qu'on a de ces bénéficiaires, de leur satisfaction par rapport aux actions qui ont été menées. Mais il faut aussi signaler que ces résultats n'auraient pas pu être atteints si on n'a pas bénéficié.
We can measure that today through the reaction of the beneficiaries. The results would have been attained if we did not receive the technical support from Yaoundé and Geneva, who brought in their support so that we can reach our goals. The director of ILO Cameroon and also the director general of ILO, who visited Cameroon to see all what is done in the promotion of decent work.
Du doigt ce qui a été en train d'être fait en termes de promotion du travail décent.
We indeed should rejoice with the investment of the director of ILO.
Aujourd'hui encore, je tends les mains vers mes parents.
Today, I extend my hand towards my parents and my grandparents who are ILO-KOICA, such that my dreams became reality, where they would say, that's your cassava that is responsible for your growth, and I'll answer yes, thanks to ILO-KOICA. My small cakes and flour have made me a successful woman and permitted us to be registered at the social insurance, so as to have retirement benefits, even without working for the government, but as an entrepreneur. I say a big thank you to ILO-KOICA for this support in the Ndelele community. This support took us out of naivety.
De notre état naïf.
Vraiment, je dis grandement merci à ILO-KOICA.
I say thank you to ILO-KOICA, and I invited the director of ILO-KOICA to visit my enterprise to see what their financial support has done to my business. Because he promised us that he would come, I am already ready to receive him in my enterprise, and he can count on me because I will succeed, and I also count on him for the extension of my enterprise.
Et je compte aussi sur lui pour mon extension de ma ferme à Sandai.
What else can I say besides the fact that the ILO-KOICA project has put a smile on the faces of more than one person? Redynamize economies, autonomization of women, creates the integration between host communities and refugees, promotes decent work. The impact of this project on its target is even clearer. Above all, the horizon will be clearer if there is proper follow-up, access to finance to increase production, and transformation of the value chains is available even in the most remote areas.
Sous le soleil, sous la pluie, même à midi, dictons-nous en avant. Oye, oye, dictons-nous, oye. Dictons-nous, même à midi, dictons-nous en avant. Et dictons-nous, oye.